If you really loved me, you would put my name on the $800,000 house," she said while twisting my grandmother ring like a leverage tool. I stayed calm, asked for the ring back, and watched her entire mask slip. Minutes later, someone else told. "I am Garrett, software engineer here in Austin. Been with my fiancée Madison for 2 years, engaged for 6 months. She is a marketing coordinator, makes decent money. We have always split things fairly. I proposed with my grandmother's vintage diamond ring, family heirloom. That means everything to me. Here is the background. My grandfather started a small tech company back in the 80s that he sold right before he died 3 years ago. I inherited $2 million after taxes. Not crazy rich, but enough to be comfortable forever if I am smart about it. I have been careful about this money. Seen too many people get weird when they find out you have cash. Keep living in my same apartment, drive my same Toyota, work my same job. The inheritance is invested conservatively, earning steady returns. My plan is to live off my salary and let the inheritance grow for future kids, early retirement, emergencies." Madison knew I inherited some money from my grandfather but didn't know the amount. I told her it was enough to help with our future, but nothing crazy. She seemed fine with that. Never pushed for details. Respected my privacy about family finances. That changed 2 weeks ago during wedding planning. We were meeting with a financial advisor to discuss joint accounts after marriage. Madison started asking specific questions about my assets for insurance purposes. The advisor assumed she knew everything and mentioned the inheritance amount directly. Madison's reaction was intense. Her eyes got huge. She went quiet for the rest of the meeting, kept staring at me like I was a stranger. On the drive home, she barely spoke. That night, she sat me down for a serious conversation about our future. "Why didn't you tell me you were a millionaire?" she asked. I explained my reasoning. Wanted her to love me for me, not my bank account. Told her I had planned to discuss everything in detail after we were married, that this was always meant to be our money eventually. Madison said she understood, but felt hurt that I didn't trust her enough to be honest. Fair point, I guess. I apologized for the secrecy and said we could start talking about joint financial goals. That is when things got weird. All way beyond what we had discussed for our budget. Now that I know what we are working with, I think we should buy something that is actually an investment, she said. We can afford so much more than I realized. I explained that just because I have money doesn't mean we should blow it on an expensive house. My plan was to buy something modest, maybe $400 K max, pay cash, and keep expenses low. Madison got frustrated, said I was being financially conservative to a fault and that we should enjoy our good fortune. Started talking about neighborhoods she wanted to live in. Amenities she had always dreamed of. How this was our chance to really build something. The conversation ended with her saying she needed time to think about what this means for our future. Yesterday, she came back with her decision. Madison wants us to buy an $800 K house in Westlake Hills. She wants both our names on the deed with equal ownership. She is willing to contribute her $15 K savings toward closing costs. I told her that didn't seem fair. If I am putting up $800 K and she is contributing $15 K, the ownership should reflect that investment. Maybe 95/5 or something proportional. Madison lost it, said I was treating her like a business transaction instead of a partner. Said marriage means sharing everything equally regardless of who brings what. That if I loved her, I wouldn't be keeping score of financial contributions. Choose, she said. Either we buy this house as equal partners, or I cannot marry someone who sees money as more important than love. I asked for time to think about it. She said I had until this weekend to decide. Been researching Texas property law, talking to my dad, losing sleep over this. Part of me wants to just say yes to keep the peace. But something feels wrong about the whole situation. My dad, retired engineer, very practical guy, says Madison, showed her true colors the moment she learned about the money. Son, a woman who really loves you wouldn't demand access to your inheritance 6 months into an engagement. My sister Amber, financial advisor, says I would be crazy to put Madison's name on a house she isn't paying for. That is $400 K in equity she would walk away with if you divorce. You have known her 2 years, protect yourself. But Madison says this is about trust and partnership, that if I cannot share major financial decisions with her, we shouldn't be getting married. The deadline is Saturday. She has been cold and distant all week, making comments about people who choose money over love, and asking if I really see us as partners. I love Madison, but this feels like emotional manipulation. 2 weeks ago, she was happy with our modest plans. Now she is threatening to leave if I don't buy her a house worth more than most people make in 20 years. Am I being unreasonable? Is this what normal couples do when one person has significant assets? Or is my gut right that something's off here? Need honest advice from people who have been through this. Update 1 had the conversation with Madison yesterday. She came over expecting my final answer about the house. So what did you decide? She asked, before even sitting down. I told her I had thought about it carefully and couldn't agree to equal ownership given the massive difference in our financial contributions. Said I was happy to buy us a nice house, maybe even bump the budget to $500K, but the deed would need to reflect actual investment percentages. Madison's face went cold. So that is your final answer. You value money more than our partnership. I am offering to build a life together, and you are worried about protecting your assets from me. That is when she played her final card. This is my take it, or leave it offer. Garrett. We buy the house as equal partners, or I cannot marry someone who doesn't trust me with major decisions. What is it going to be? The ultimatum tone did it for me. Something clicked, and I realized my dad and sister were right. If that is your final offer, I said, then I will need my grandmother's ring back. We are done. Madison's expression went from confident to shocked in about 2 seconds. What? The engagement is off. I would like my grandmother's ring back, please. I held out my hand and waited. Madison just stared at me like I had lost my mind. You are seriously choosing money over our relationship? She asked. I am choosing not to be manipulated, I said, and not to have family heirlooms held hostage over real estate demands. Madison started crying. Said she didn't mean the ultimatum, that we could work something out. But she still hadn't taken off the ring. The ring. Madison. She reluctantly slid it off her finger and handed it to me. The moment I had my grandmother's ring back, I felt this huge wave of relief mixed with sadness. Relief that it was safe. Sadness that our relationship had come to this. Madison immediately switched tactics. Started saying she had been testing me to see if I really loved her, that she didn't actually care about the house. She just wanted to know I would choose her over money. Said we could go back to our original modest plans. But it was too late. Seeing how quickly she went from ultimatum to backtracking told me everything I needed to know about her character. I think you should leave, I said. Madison spent another 20 minutes alternating between tears and anger. Said I was financially abusing her by withholding assets that could benefit us both. That I was paranoid and controlling, that she hoped I would be happy alone with my money. After she left, I called my dad. He said I did the right thing, but he was sorry. It ended this way. My sister said she was proud of me for standing up for myself. The weird part is how much lighter I feel. Like a weight I didn't know I was carrying has been lifted. Been thinking about the timeline. Madison was perfectly happy with modest plans for 6 months. The expensive house demands started exactly 24 hours after she learned about the inheritance. If that is not a red flag, I don't know what is. Work buddies are split. Some think I overreacted, that all couples fight about money, and this could have been worked out. Others think Madison showed her true colors, and I dodged a bullet. My neighbor Marcus had an interesting perspective. He went through a similar situation when his ex-wife found out about his military disability settlement. The money doesn't change who you are, he said, but it sure reveals who everyone else is. That feels right. Madison didn't suddenly become entitled and demanding. She just stopped hiding those parts of her personality once she thought she had access to my wealth. The hardest part is missing her. 2 years of building a relationship, planning a future, and it all came down to her wanting immediate access to money she didn't earn. But I keep looking at my grandmother's ring and feeling grateful it is back where it belongs. Planning to take some time before dating again. Need to figure out how to protect myself without becoming cynical about everyone's motives. Update 2. She waited exactly 1 week after our breakup before reaching out. Started with apology texts saying she had been stressed about wedding planning and reacted poorly to financial discussions. Said she had had time to think and realized she was wrong to give me an ultimatum. Ignored the first few texts, but she escalated to calling and showing up at my apartment. Finally agreed to meet for coffee to hear what she had to say. Madison came prepared. Full apology, took responsibility for being materialistic and pushy. Said she understood why I ended things. Claimed she had learned her lesson about respecting my financial boundaries. I don't care about the house, she said. I just want us back together. We can get married in a courthouse and live in your apartment forever if that is what you want. Sounded sincere. But I have been burned before by people telling me what they think I want to hear. Asked her what specifically she had learned from our fight. Madison said she realized she had been influenced by social media and friends who have expensive lifestyles. That she had gotten caught up in keeping up with appearances instead of focusing on our relationship. I love you, not your money, she said. I am sorry I made you feel otherwise. The conversation went on for 2 hours. Madison seemed genuinely remorseful, acknowledged that her ultimatum was manipulation, said she wanted to rebuild trust slowly. Then she asked for the engagement ring back. I know I have to earn it, she said. But having the ring back would show me you are serious about giving us another chance. I told her that was backwards. The ring comes back when trust is rebuilt, not as a starting point for rebuilding trust. That family heirlooms aren't negotiating tools. Madison got frustrated, said I was holding the ring hostage and using it as punishment for her mistakes. That if I really wanted to work things out, I would show good faith by giving it back. Red flag number 2. Told Madison I needed time to think about reconciliation. She said okay, but kept pushing about the ring. It belongs to your future wife, she said. I am your future wife. So it belongs to me. The entitlement was still there, just better disguised. 2 days later, Madison brought reinforcements. Her friend Jessica called me, said Madison was devastated, and had been crying non-stop since our coffee meeting. Jessica said I was being cruel by dangling reconciliation while withholding the ring. She made one mistake and you are punishing her forever, Jessica said. That is not how healthy relationships work, asked Jessica, if she knew the details of Madison's one mistake. Turns out Madison told her friends I was being financially controlling and wouldn't let her have input on major purchases. Completely different story than what actually happened. That sealed it for me. If Madison was willing to lie to mutual friends about our breakup, she hadn't learned anything. Called Madison and told her reconciliation was off the table. She immediately got angry, demanded to know why I was stringing her along if I had already decided. Because I wanted to see if you would really changed, I said. You haven't, Madison exploded. Said I had wasted her time, that I was emotionally manipulative for giving her false hope. Accused me of leading her on just to reject her again. I want my ring back, she said. It is not your ring. It was never your ring. It is my grandmother's ring that I was letting you wear. Madison said she would look into legal action to get the ring back. I told her to talk to a lawyer and hung up. My sister Amber laughed when I told her about the legal threat. She can try, but Texas law is clear. Broken engagements mean the ring goes back to whoever gave it. Especially family heirlooms. Been thinking about what this whole experience taught me. Madison wasn't evil or intentionally malicious. She just had a very different idea of what marriage and money sharing should look like. The problem is, she tried to force those ideas through ultimatums instead of honest discussion. The ring demand really bothered me, not just asking for it back, but feeling entitled to it as proof of my commitment. Like my grandmother's heirloom was a token she could claim ownership of. Works, been good, been putting extra hours into a new project that is actually pretty interesting. My team's building software for financial planning, which feels ironically appropriate given everything. Started seeing a therapist to work through trust issues around money. Dr. Martinez says it is normal to develop hypervigilance after inheritance situations. She is helping me figure out how to date without being paranoid, while still protecting myself from people with bad intentions. The loneliness is real though. 2 years with someone creates habits and expectations that are hard to break. The way her whole demeanor changed instantly. My dad said something wise last week. Son, The right woman will be excited about your security, not your money. There is a difference. Final update: Madison made one last attempt at reconciliation 6 weeks ago. Showed up at my apartment with a handwritten letter apologizing for everything and asking for one more chance to prove she loved me for me, not my money. The letter was actually well written and seemed sincere. She acknowledged that her behavior after learning about the inheritance was wrong, said she had been seeing a therapist to work on her entitlement issues, and promised to sign any prenup I wanted if we got back together. But then she asked for the ring again, said having it back would help her feel secure about my commitment to rebuilding trust. That is when I knew nothing had fundamentally changed. She still saw my grandmother's ring as something she was entitled to, still thought my commitment should be proven through giving her access to family heirlooms. Told her no for the final time. Madison said she understood, but asked if I had at least considered dating other people before closing the door completely on us. I am considering dating other people, I said. That is exactly what I am doing. Madison's face went pale. Think she had been assuming I was staying single while processing our relationship. The reality that I was moving on seemed to hit her hard. She left without arguing, which was honestly a relief. Found out through mutual friends that Madison's dating someone new. Guy named Trevor who owns 3 rental properties in Austin. Apparently they met at a real estate investment seminar. Cannot make this stuff up. Jessica, Madison's friend who called me, mentioned that Madison got engaged again last month to Trevor. After 2 months of dating, guess she found someone more willing to share financial information quickly. Jessica seemed to expect me to be upset about Madison moving on so fast. I told her I was happy for them and hoped it worked out. Which is actually true. Madison deserves to find someone whose values match hers. The ring situation resolved itself permanently. My sister Amber suggested I have it reset with additional stones for my future wife. Whenever that happens. Jeweler said the original diamond is stunning quality and would look beautiful in a modern setting. Having the ring redesigned felt symbolic. It is still my grandmother's diamond, still carries family history, but it will be something new for a new relationship. Clean slate while honoring the past. Been dating someone new for about 6 weeks. Clementine. She is a veterinarian I met at a coffee shop. When I told her I had inherited some money from my grandfather, she said that is nice and changed the subject back to her work with rescue animals. Clementine's different from Madison in every way that matters. She pays for her own dinner when we go out. Never asks about my finances. Seems genuinely interested in me as a person, rather than my security or lifestyle potential. We are taking things slow, but I feel relaxed around Clementine in a way I never did with Madison. No performance anxiety about whether I am being generous enough or providing the right lifestyle. Just normal relationship stuff. Dr. Martinez says, my experience with Madison was actually valuable learning. I now know what gold digger behavior looks like, understand my own boundaries better, and feel confident about protecting family assets while still being open to partnership. The therapy helped me realize that Madison's reaction to the inheritance wasn't really about the money. It was about control and status. She wanted access to wealth she hadn't earned because it would change how other people saw her. Clementine, on the other hand, seems genuinely disinterested in my financial situation. She is building her own veterinary practice, talks about her business goals, never hints about wanting me to help fund anything. Independent and driven in a way that is actually attractive. Work gave me a promotion last month. Senior software architect, significant pay bump, more interesting projects. The inheritance is still growing steadily in conservative investments. On track to retire early if I want to, or help future kids with college, or travel extensively. But the money feels less central to my identity now. It is a tool for security and options, not a test for other people's character, though I am definitely more careful about when and how I reveal financial information to new people. My dad met Clementine last week and said she reminded him of my mom. Practical, caring, focused on her own goals. This one likes you for you, he said. I can tell the difference. That means everything coming from Dad. He watched the whole Madison situation unfold and never said I told you so, just supported my decisions and helped me learn from the experience. Got a text from Madison 2 weeks ago. Saw your house on Zillow. It is beautiful. Hope you are happy, didn't respond. Some conversations are better left finished. The house is perfect for me. Home office, workshop space in the garage, big backyard for a dog eventually. Clementine's been helping me pick out furniture, though she insists on splitting costs for anything that benefits both of us when she is over.